Radio Chingalame News, brought to you by Moose Milling and Go TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited.
Radio Changalo, restoring everything in Christ with love and truth. Good afternoon. With the main news, I'm Patrick Mupeta. The headlines: utilize extension of voter verification exercise, promote peace ahead of elections, National Rugby League enter week 2. The details: Catholic Diocese of Undola Justice and Peace Coordinator Andrew Chimfwembe has called for enhanced sensitization following the extension of the voter verification exercise by the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ. Mr. Chimfwembe said the extension, which would go up to 7th April 2021, will be meaningless if people are not adequately sensitized. He proposed that ECZ and other stakeholders should ensure that there is massive sensitization in the communities. Mr. Chimfwembe has told Radio Chingalo News in Ndola that low turnout characterized the first phase of verification exercise.
Takapeli ubuyonga chakuti abantu balefa abati balolesa ifintu tababebereyo kufire kwabwa okulanda sana kubantu kubachinchisha sana ukuthi bayetekinisha ama details yabo noma ngachati kulanda mu mapaper la nokulanda papirimba ukwabula ukuthi bapite mu mushiri balande kubantu tachakafirisheyo echo bonse abaletishana kuchirimba kuine na mu mapaper la.
And Next Avenue for Retirees in Zambia, NARIZ, has commended the Electoral Commission of Zambia for extending the verification exercise. NARIZ President Albert Muyembe has since encouraged citizens to take time to check the details on their voters' cards to ensure that they can participate in the electoral process. Mr. Muyembe said this in a walk-in interview with Radio Changalo News today.
Of this voter verification process is twofold. Number one, to ensure that only duly registered voters are allowed access to the polling stations on the polling day. Number two, it is equally important that citizens are not denied the right to vote. Our organization, therefore, strongly wish to encourage all senior citizens all over the country to make sure that they take time to check their identity and right to vote by validating their voters' cards during this extension period. Senior citizens should lead by example by exercising voting as a right and taking part in the governance of the electoral role, which
the inspection of the provision of voter registration exercise, which was supposed to come to a close yesterday, has been extended for 5 days. Meanwhile, Quito City Council Town Clerk Mbulo Seke says members of the public should ensure that they utilize the extended period to correct their details on the voters' cards. Mr. Seke also noted that the period is also to allow those who have lost their cards to replace them and those who wish to transfer to another polling station or removal of deceased persons can also do that. He has since encouraged the community in the district to visit the nearest inspection center and take part in the exercise, which is scheduled to close on Wednesday, 7th April 2021. Now, Quito-based fellow chartered accountant Imano Mbambiko has been speaking about the effects of the current high cost of living prevailing in the country. And Mr. Mbambiko has attributed the rise in most basic commodities to the poor performance of the kwacha against the US dollar, coupled with the instability in the price of fuel and electricity. Speaking on face-to-face with the community program today, Mr. Mbambiko said the high cost of living has resulted in increased poverty levels, especially at household level. He has since called on government to show political will in reducing the cost of production in most industries, which he has also attributed to be among the causes of the increase in most basic commodities. Mr. Mbabiko has further asked Zambians to consider backyard gardening so as to cushion the costs incurred when buying vegetables, tomatoes, and onions.
In our pocket, to sustain ourselves, to put food on the table for an average family of 3 to 5 people, you need roughly about 9,000 per month to have the best foods and that's the best life. The question is, how many people can afford 9,000 kwacha? And obviously the answer is very few people can afford that. There are few people that we can see who are playing with money. They can take pictures with money. Those are very tiny. It's such a small percentage. But the majority of us, whether you live in Riverside, whether you live in Parklands, whether you live in Kapoto, the majority
Moving on, politicians have been reminded to promote peace ahead of the August 12 general elections. Chifugu constituency aspiring candidate Dorothy Nachilongo said it is important that the political atmosphere is peaceful before, during, and after the general elections. Ms. Nachilongo, former Deputy High Commissioner to Namibia, said lack of peace leads to division, which should not be entertained. She was speaking to Radio Changalo News in Kitwe.
Zambia is well known for peace. Let us conduct our politics peacefully. We've never known bloodshed in our country. This is a Christian nation. We should work to see to it that there is no violence and there's no bloodshed. All we should do is say ourselves and our manifestos. And we're extending this to all parties. There shouldn't be any bloodshed as we go towards elections. Even after elections, let us conduct ourselves in a manner that
Small-scale farmers in Luansha have been implored to double their productivity by embracing new farming methods. Luansha Mayor Nathan Chanda, in a statement available to Radio Changalo News by Luansha Municipal Council Public Relations Manager Gideon Tole, said he was impressed with the number of households engaging in farming activities in the town, which has over the years drastically increased. He noted that once farmers embrace double methods, it would help in maximizing the benefits government has continued to offer them, especially with the call to diversify the economy. Mr. Chanda was speaking when he officiated during the Luansha West Farmers Field in Ron constituency.
All small-scale farmers here in Luansha town to double their productivity by embracing new farming methods and maximizing the benefits from the support which government of PF under the able leadership of President Edgar Chagwarungu is giving. I also want to urge you to diversify from copper dependence into agriculture sector, taking advantage of the so many good policies the PF government has put in place, which includes
about 314 households in Chililabombwe's PP Zambia area who are living near Lubambe copper mine are seeking relocation from the area owing to mining activities. The concerned residents complained that continued mining activities are posing a threat to them. Speaking when Chililabombwe District Commissioner Roingosa visited the area yesterday, the residents, however, expressed displeasure that relevant authorities have failed to address the matter despite numerous complaints from residents.
Tukemafero kuyachirika tabakese kumkubombapa
Mupeta mumwesu muli amayanda almost 65 ayakona yalipona mulandu wa explosive utupata tabai sana mukuchekinga nnyo
ilili ashikale twatampo kuyishanya kale kuli nabale maniki baba bana mai baba owenganda yaponene umwine mupipi nomba pafya musango yunga chapola tibaleko shemitima busheko kwebe na Zambia nishikuti twakwata kuchetekera kweba tikwena pali ubutemu hapa nichiresa ali kwatishoruse ewe nala soka izini shibantu bambyale misoka ati abantu ngo bali mu danger.
And Silavumbu District Commissioner Roingo, however, explained that land has already been identified for relocating the affected residents.
Bali tupeleka ya kanzo lero cha nyinka fionze ni bridge so bridge nga yabikwa mwatampo kutola material kulia watampo kutola material kulia mulio kulirwa mayanda yawami kulia mayanda kamikusha but minwa kebenga abantu bati bali safe takulija kwa cyoli mshara unduka lero mwisange mu 10 meters awe takuli ifyo.
Let's see what we have in sports today. The National Rugby League has today entered week 2 with defending champions Red Arrows visiting sleeping giants Diggers in Kitwe. Both Arrows and Diggers are searching for their first points after enduring disputed games last weekend. Green Eagles have a match against Muflera Leopards with KPF visiting Inkwazi in Lusaka. Green Buffaloes are facing powerhouse Lusaka in the capital city local derby. This news broadcast comes to you in the community service of Radio Chingala with compliments of Moose Milling and Go TV Broadcasting Zambia Limited. And now international news as monitored from the BBC. Worshippers gathered on Friday at Regina Mundi Catholic Church in Soweto, South Africa to celebrate Good Friday under strict COVID-19 regulations, praying for all those fighting the pandemic in the front line. The faithful had their temperatures taken, hands sanitized, and were expected to wear face masks at all times inside the church. About 150 people turned out for Good Friday service, which was presided by Father Tayelo Kamani, who prayed for life to return to normal after the coronavirus pandemic. According to data collected by the BBC, South Africa has recorded more than 1.5 million COVID-19 infection and reported over 52,000 confirmed deaths. And finally, on our main news, Mohamed Bazoum has taken the oath of office as president of Niger Republic. The swearing-in ceremony was held at the Mahatma Gandhi Conference Center in Niamey Friday afternoon, which came despite a failed coup early this week. Outgoing President Muhammadu Assaoufo, who stepped down after 2 5-year terms, handed power to Muhammadu Bazoum. Bazoum, the 65-year-old former interior minister, had been the right-hand man to Mr. Assaoufo. We now end Radio Chingala News by taking another look at our headlines. Utilize extension of voter verification exercise, promote peace ahead of the elections, and the National Rugby League enter week 2. For these and more stories, you can visit our Facebook page, log on to Facebook and like the Radio Chingalo page, and link to radiochingalo.radio12345.com. And now the weather, as produced by the Zambia Meteorological Department. There will be a slight pickup in daytime temperature with isolated rainfall activities, especially over the extreme northern districts of Zambia. Thank you very much for listening to the main news, and thank you very much for following us on our Facebook page. This has been Patrick Mupeta. Good afternoon.